Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coach Dad Podcast. So hello everybody and welcome back to the Coach Dad Podcast with me, your host Ben. Now this is going to be a short and sweet episode this week. Reason being is I'm pretty much up against it with time as always. I haven't had time to prepare a bigger episode like I've been having over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, it's just going to be a short sort of sweet one, talking a little bit about what happened last week and what we've got lined up for this weekend coming. So yeah, let's get straight into it with this week's football news. So yes, last weekend and my little team of under nines, my little group of ballers in Austin, we had a home game against Watlington under nines. It's the first time we ever came across Watlington. They had been operating and playing in one of the higher leagues because they had a very good team. Over the summer, they lost a couple of free players and they were put in, I think, the top league or one of the middle leagues, and they protested and they got put down into our league because they lost sort of 70 odd goals or something like that. I mean, coming from a team who scored about 30 goals last year as a total, I didn't feel too bad for them. It'd be nice to score even half of that for the whole team. Whereas, yeah, like I say, they lost a few players poached, I believe, for other teams in the local area. But yeah, it's just how it goes. So they were in the bottom league, and we went into the game off the back of a very good training session that me and Adam put on last week. It felt really good, heavily focused on passing. So the goal going into this game was passing. It don't really matter about the result. We're not having if things come off or not, but we want to see you playing out from the back with confidence. And if it doesn't come off, don't worry, don't panic. Try it again, do it again. So the instruction for the lads were, just get out there, enjoy your stuff, but pass. So yeah, the game got off to a start, and we ended up conceded a goal pretty much straight away, which is pretty standard for us. We're always slow starters. So me and Adam have actually sort of earmarked something for tomorrow's game. I'm recording this on Friday, as I have been, to try and get us off to a fast start, because again, that's something we're recognising now, and we're going to try and target that. But we went a goal down pretty sharpish. Then we had a good sort of 10 minutes where we were competitive, and then conceded pretty late on in the quarter, had a break, had a little bit of change around of personnel, moved people about, just trying to get people in certain positions and keep the game time right for everybody. And then we conceded a few more up to half time, and then again switching it up. We were playing really well though, really impressive by the way we were trying to pass the ball, and we were sort of battling away and doing really well. We just couldn't sort of get the breaks, if you know what I'm saying. The game was predominantly played sort of mostly in our half. We didn't have too many chances, whereas they were sort of peppering our goal. And as much as they lost all them goals, they looked like a very good team, moved the ball quite well. They looked to pass the ball and move as well, and they had some players, they had a good player or two who could weave their way through and pass everybody. So not too sure on they're that far behind where they were last year, but it is what it is. And then we had a solid third quarter where we didn't concede a goal. We battled away hard again. We were looking to pass, got the lads sat down for the last quarter, and I said, look, we're going to go all out. We switched the formation up slightly. We went all out. I said, let's try and get a goal. The game's gone in it. We've done passing. You've done really well. We concentrated on that for the last sort of 3 quarters. I'm happy now if you want to start getting yourself forward, looking for a goal, but we've got to do the hard work and try and get back. But ultimately, that didn't come off. In chasing a goal where we didn't actually score a goal, but we did try hard. The boys were battling away, but we did concede a fair few goals in that last quarter, and it did end up in a double-digit defeat. But it's a different feel, double-digit defeat, to the week before, because the attitude was right this week. And as a new coach, or any new coaches out there, if you're listening to this, that you could look at a string of fixtures that you've had, and like me this season and my team, we've only scored 2 goals in 5 league games. In them 5 league games, they've all been negative results. Of those negative results, 3 of them have been double-digit defeats, but we were quite sort of happy with how it went on Saturday, because the game plan, the planning that we're putting in, the little bits that we're working on in each game, that we want the boys to eventually put all these little bits together to then, develop their game. So this week it was purely passing, so we wanted them to play out the back with confidence. We wanted them to move the ball instead of just getting it to the defender from a goal kick and then lumping it forward. We want them to progress the play, to either pass it along the back to the goalkeeper, or look for the midfielder, and they were doing that. And there were times where we put 3, 4, 5 passes together, and it was really good to watch, and it was noticeable. We didn't really concede any goals from dilly-dallying around a box, which we had the week before, sort of conceding possession or just booting the ball, dillying too long on the ball and losing possession and conceded a goal straight away. This week we actually, looked to pass and then move the ball forward. So in a double-digit defeat, there is, you've got to look for the positives, and the positives were the boys were doing as we asked. So we now got that in the locker now, so we're now looking to pass more. The boys know that they can pass without the fear of, being told off, because that's not what we're about. We would always encourage it, so they know that is the right way to play. And eventually, like I keep telling the boys, that I grab the ball and I'm like, what is this? It's a football. What happens if the other team have not got this ball? What happens if we have this ball and the other team haven't got it? What can't they do? And then they'll give you, they can't pass, they can't score. So yeah, it's drilling it into them at a level that they understand. So yeah, that was not a bad result, like against a good team. We'll take that. Austin's game, he played. I'm trying to think back now. I think he might have had a quarter in goal, and then played a couple out up top. And he was actually quite impressive this time. He had a few shots, and he's just one of the parts of his game that, because he's been in youth football this is his first season now, he knows about sort of passing and can move the ball quite well and gets his head ups and stuff like that. Whereas some of the new ones are on board, they're not quite at that stage yet. So his passing ability has always been fairly good. He can put in a nice pass, and he knows how to read the game. He's just got to toughen up a little. But yeah, that'll come. So yeah, that's how his week went, and my little team of under 9s. And then Caleb's game. So I then took Caleb to his game. He was playing against a team called Holly Meadows. He plays for Watlington. Obviously, we were playing against Watlington. I was coaching one day and then supporting Watlington another day. From his coach a couple of days before, he struggled to get a referee, so he texted me and said, "Can I ref the game?" So I was like, "Oh, I will do. I'll do it. Don't mind. I'll do it." He said, "I'll pay you." So it's like, fair enough. I'll ref it. So I actually turned up in all my sort of shoulder gear that I've got is all in black. So I turned up in that, sort of fully expecting to ref. I'd done about 10-mile run just before, so my legs were a little bit like jelly, and I got there, turned up, and there was a game already on, and Wayne says it's up to you if you want to do it or not, but the ref from the game before said he'll do it. I was quite relieved at that, so I could then go sit and watch and enjoy the game. So yeah, sat down to watch Caleb play. They played Holly Meadows. Holly Meadows hadn't won a game all season. And obviously Watlington were sitting about 4th in the table, 12 points out of 15. There's quite a big difference in points, and quite a split. I think there's 14 teams in the league, and there's 6 or 7 who've won pretty much all their games against the other ones at the bottom. It looks like all the top teams have played all the bottom teams, because there's 4 teams on 12 points, 1 team on 15 points, and then a load of teams on 0 points. So I think the league will start balancing out now, and where they play sort of harder teams. But yeah, Caleb started the game in centre midfield. He got about 3/4 of the way through the first half, and then it was evident that whatever Watlington were trying to do just wasn't working. They were playing a free at the back with a couple of holding midfielders, one in behind, 2 out wide, and 1 up top, and it just didn't click. So Caleb actually made way, and they went to a 4-4-2, which which I've never really seen play too much. They've always been three at the back, but they switched to 4-4-2, and I'll be honest, I think it didn't really help them. Holly Meadows played, I think they played three at the back as well. So they were sort of winning the battle in midfield, and they actually went 1-0 up. And when half time came, Caleb was off at this point, and they were 1-0 down. And then the second half, they struggled with a 4-4-2. I think because they've been so drilled to be playing with the three at the back, they sort of struggled to move the ball about, and it looked a bit hit and hope. They were sort of just trying to ping the ball down the sides or over the top, and sort of totally bypass the midfield. That's what it felt like watching it anyway. And then Caleb come back on not too long in the second half at right back of all places, which he doesn't mind playing actually, because he likes a bit of a tackle and he likes to thread a ball and a bit of a battle. So he came on at right back, and then Wallington got back into the game, got a goal, and then with about 10 minutes to go, I think they then scored once more, 2-1, and then it was pretty comfortable, to be fair. Holly Meadows, like I say, hadn't won a game all season, and they really made hard work of it, to be fair. And it was a bit sort of like my game the day before, where even though we played well, we didn't really have too many efforts, and that's how it went with Watlington's game. They were on top for the majority of the game, give away a silly goal, and were chasing the game, and Holly Meadows dug in, they made a game of it, but ultimately the quality in the end that Watlington had came through, and they ended up getting the victory 2-1. So he came off a little bit disappointed because he came off sort of midway through the first half, and he'd come back on again. So he played between half and three quarters of the game. He was the one who got dropped out of the midfield free for just a change of shape, a change of formation, and he was the one who'd give it up. But then he came back on at right back, so he was happy with his performance. He's asked if he can play there. He likes playing right back, but it's hard when you're playing a free. You don't have a right back, and I don't think he's really cut out to be a wing back. He ain't got that pace about him, but playing at right back or in the defensive midfield role where he's just sort of breaking up play or threading balls and having a little bit of battle, that's more his game than maybe the more articulate threading of the ball. Wing back, you've got to have a bit about you to get up and down, so that aspect is missing from his game. But yeah, so that's how he ended up, came away with the win, so that was all good in that part. Just for the games coming up this week, now I have got a game with my little lot against the Wootons. They're a good team, fairly good team. We played them in a pre-season friendly. I think we lost 9-1. I think we lost to them last season 9-3, and it might have been 15 something. I know I'm not going to go on about results, but I'm not going on about results now. If I can look back to last season, then fair enough, I'll do that. But I think they beat us quite handedly away, if I remember, in like only our second or third game last year as a new team. So yeah, it's all been sort of fairly one-sided, but I always felt like if we can get it right, we're in with a chance. Me and Adam in the training sessions this week, we worked hard on the most noticeable thing from our game last weekend was how standoffish we are. So we passed the ball, so we're getting certain aspects of our game right, but we're quite standoffish. We'll watch, each of our players won't take ownership of the ball, and sometimes they just won't put their foot in. They won't do certain things, like sometimes like they're scared to go to the ball. So we've done a lot of fun battling drills where they're sort of shoulder to shoulder and they're trying to win the ball and use their strength, and it was a really good fun session. Chucked in a bit of passing, and then we had a nice, really good game at the end. But the thing that was noticeable in the game at the end was the passing. They were looking to pass, so it is rubbing off in small steps, and just got to keep going with it. And like I say, me and Adam have got a bit of a plan, and it's going to plan at the minute. And we've decided that all the teams we come up against and everyone we play against go for traditional 2-3-1 formation. So a couple at the back, three midfielders, one left, right, and centre, and then one up top where we decided we're going to go for the sort of Christmas tree, the 3-2-1. So it gives us a little bit more coverage at the back, but then it gives those centre mid and the couple of centre mids and the one up top that freedom to roam and go forward. So we're going to go against the grain a little bit, because we've not come against any teams who do 3-2-1. It's all pretty much standard, the 2-3-1. So we've already got a plan in mind of how it's going to go, and we're going to push on for that for a little while. We're going to stick with that formation, and we're going to try and make that work. Just makes us more solid at the back, we believe, because when you've got two at the back and then you play a couple of wingers, it's hard for the newer boys to know the nuances of getting up and getting down. So if we can have a flat three and then let the more creative players, shall we say, that's probably not fair to say actually, just so that that if you're a defender, you're defending. We've got three at the back and not to go too high, and then we've got three players who have the ability to go forward and go seek out and hopefully get some goals. So yeah, we're looking forward to that tomorrow, and seeing how that goes. And yeah, just I think squad wise, the only minus for tomorrow is my goalkeeper again, not there. But we have got 2 or 3 kids who are keen to play in goal, and all week, you might have seen I put it on one of my socials, Austin is desperate to play in goal, so I'll give him a go. And we're going to give all the boys a quarter who want to go in goal and tack it like that. So yeah, hoping for a good result again. And again, we chat to the boys in the training session and said to them that that we are now going to start awarding the man of the match, not on who's had the best outstanding performance, but we're going to give them some targets in training. And this week it's most tackle. So whoever we deem or we see who gets the most tackle, who's getting stuck in, will win the man of the match award. So we're taking what we do in training and we're trying to feed it into the games and focus them on that. Like, again, not too worried about the result, always hopeful that the result will come, but passing's now sort of slowly getting there and creeping into our football. So we are now looking to eradicate the standing off, and that's our next bit, the tackling. So let's get these boys into the tackling. We're attacking it a little bit. So with a group, it's so hard to individually pick, can you do this, can you do that. You can give individual instructions in games, but as a group, trying to get them up to speed together, I think this is the best way. So we're targeting doing some passing drills and whatnot in training, 3-4 weeks in a row. Now we're working on their tackling and then not standing off, and we'll go through the phases, and then hopefully when it all comes together and it clicks, we're going to be on to one, instead of focusing on only certain players' abilities and whatnot, and then trying to eke out what they're not doing, because that's too involved for a group like this. I find, like, you may have coaches out there who can do it, but it's just not. I think the way we're doing it is the best for our group, essentially, because we're all fairly well. The boys are all fairly well, not too far away, more at the beginning end of the game, so that if they can learn as a collective and learn this as a team, it's not an individual project, it's a collective project, then I think we're going to get there. So yeah, we've got the Wootons tomorrow, so we're hoping for good things. And as for Caleb, I'm just going to quickly store and talk really slowly while I log up the app. And yes, of course. So, bit of a reverse. Caleb is playing away, but he's playing away to Sholdham. So he is playing his home game. His away game is actually 2 minutes away from home this week. So it's a bonus, really. They should win that game comfortably, to be fair, because both the Sholdham teams at the under 13 levels, I think they struggle. They're both teams I think they've played 3 or 4 games. I think one's played 5, one's played 3. They've lost all the games so far, and quite heavily. So Waddington should do a job on them. I think it should win quite comfortably. But yeah, so no silly travel this week. I've got a 2-minute journey for Caleb's game, which is lovely for a Sunday, so it doesn't wreck the day travelling half an hour, 45 minutes. So you get your small wins, don't you? So yeah, hoping for good things for him. I'm going to be picking him up in a couple of hours and taking him to his training session. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good weekend in the household for us. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this week. Like I say, just keeping it short and sweet. Got a busy weekend of football in the weekend, in the next few days. Obviously today being Friday, Caleb's got his training, my game tomorrow, and then Caleb's game on Sunday. So yeah, it's all happening this weekend. Both games actually start at 11:30, I think. So yeah, not the worst times, not the best times. Would have preferred 10 a.m. kickoffs in both of them, but that's just how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this weekend's podcast. I just quickly go into a little bit about some stuff in the week that I see online and stuff like that. One thing was about poaching, not coaching, and I got into a bit of a debate on a page about that and my thoughts on it. So I think next week I will have a look at that aspect of it from my point of view. I've probably gone into it a little bit before and my views on it. And like anything, as you go through the process of being a coach and as time goes on, your viewpoint might change, and mine often does, but it always comes with sort of positive permutations that I don't poach, but if I put an advert out there and someone comes and joins me from another team, then that is what it is. That's not poaching. I think poaching means that, you know, you would take a player on from someone else, and you would perhaps look to fit them in your team, perhaps at the expense of someone else. Because if you're poaching, you're asking people to come and join your team to better the team as a group. That often means that if you're bringing them at the top end, someone at the other end is probably going to fall by the wayside. And I have actually picked up a couple of players this season. That's how they joined me, because they were at clubs where they were deemed, you know, not good enough, train only, and they're a couple of my, you know, I've got one or two, they're probably my better players. So it's just how the game goes. But yeah, poaching, like I say, I played Watlington last weekend and they had a couple of their players poached by other local teams, and it left them with a big hole and big gaps to fill. So it does go on, and even at under 9s, under 8s, I have had 2 parents talk to me before about poaching. And they've been approached by managers of other teams. It's happened to me twice. They come to me, and I've called it out to these other managers. But it is what it is. But I think I'm going to have a real good deep dive into that next week. But as for this week, I'll keep it nice and short. So there we go. That is the end of this week's podcast. Thanks for listening. Like I say, it was short and sweet. It was more just about the games that happened and what happened in the household. Not taking a deep dive into anything, but yeah, just massive thanks to everybody who keeps tuning in and keeps listening. As I grow, I get lots of responses and people. So apologies if I miss things on the various pages. I'm just not really that way inclined. I try and keep across the socials and read the messages and whatnot. But that, coupled with a busy sort of personal life and family and all the rest of it, it's just really hard to be hot and across it all. But as you grow, these things sort of happen. But yeah, the numbers are always seem to be on the up, and I keep getting messages of support all the time and people sort of asking about it. So yeah, thanks again, and yeah, thanks everyone for listening, and tune in next week for probably a bumper episode.